Good evening, all. In the last session, we discussed about what is SQL database. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, which is used to manipulate the data available in relational databases. Relational databases will represent the data in the form of key and value pair. Every application will use a database to store the data in the form of tables and columns. Columns and rows will be available. Now, if we purchase the database, then we have to set up a lot of things. We have to maintain, we have to invest a lot of money for the databases. That's why we are using cloud databases. We are using cloud databases. AWS is the cloud platform we are using. AWS providing one database called RDS, Relational Database Service. In that RDS service, AWS offering several databases. We are using one database called MySQL database. Yesterday, I explained how to create MySQL database in the AWS and how to connect to that MySQL database by using EC2 machine. When the database is created, we have to note down endpoint of the database, port number, username, and password. Endpoint is nothing but database URL. By using that URL only, we can connect to the database and on which port number the database is running. By default, MySQL will run on 3306 and we have taken username. Default username for the RDS MySQL is admin and we need to note down these details to development team so that they can connect from application to the database software. Okay, once we have created the database, how to check whether the database is having opened for connections or not? How to check whether the database is having connection or not? Whether people can connect to the database or not? How can we check it? For that, I have taken my EC2 instance. I connected to the EC2 instance by using putty. Then I have executed these commands. Sudo apt get update. This is used to update the softwares in my EC2. Once the existing softwares are updated in the EC2, then we can install MySQL client software in the EC2. You can install MySQL client software in the EC2 by using sudo apt get install MySQL client. Like this, you can install MySQL client software in our EC2 instance. Updated. Now install the client. The client is already installed. Then how to connect to the database? I have taken the endpoint URL of my database and this is my password. This is my username. If you give this command in the database, it is going to ask the password. If you give this database, it is going to ask the password. If you enter the password correctly, then you will be connected to the database. Some people are not able to connect to the database. It's because of port number issue. Yesterday, I told you how you need to open the port. For connecting with the database. Once you are able to connect with the database to the MySQL database, if you are connected, then you can execute some commands, show databases. What are the databases available? At the time of database creation, I have given my database name as Ashok IT DB. So that's why I can connect to this database. Ashok IT DB is the name of the database. I can connect to the database. Once I know what are the databases available, I need to select a particular database. How to select a database? Use database name. Now I have connected to that particular database. I connected to MySQL. In the MySQL, Ashok IT DB is created. Then I have selected that database. Once I have selected that database, then I can go for show tables. What is the table available? Persons table available. Select star from table name. table name. I can see the table name here. I can see the table and table data. I have given the queries also for that. Show database to display what all the databases available in our RDS. Now, once it is displaying the database, displaying the list of the databases, you can choose particular database by use the database name. Okay. Now, once you have selected the database, you can display what all the tables available in the database by using show tables command. By using show tables command. Once the database is selected, we can create table. We can create table, insert data, insert, update, and retrieve data using below commands. What are the commands? This command is used to create the table. This command is used to insert the record. This command is used to retrieve the records, and we can even update the record also. SQL query to update the record. SQL query to update table data. Table data. Update persons. Set city. Set city is equal to Chennai, where person ID equal to 101. Where the person ID is equal to 101. Person is already having the address as a Hyderabad, city as a Hyderabad. Now I want to update the address city to the Chennai. Update persons table, update persons table, update persons, set city is equal to Chennai, where person ID is equal to 101. It is used to update the record. Once the record is updated, whether the record is updated successfully or not, we can check that also by using this command. This is used to retrieve the data. Select a star from table name to retrieve the data. It is used to update the data. It is used to retrieve the data. It is used to insert the data, and it is used to create the table. Now similarly, you can delete the record also from the table. Delete from person, delete record from table. Delete query, delete query. Delete from table, delete from persons, where person ID equal to 101. This is the delete query which is used to delete the record from the table where person ID is equal to 101. Are you clear with my point?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
clear with my point? So these all queries we can execute on the table so that we can perform operations on the table. Now, okay guys, some people are not able to connect to the database from the EC2 instance because of port number issue. Now let me check with Avinash first. Avinash, are you able to connect with the database? Avinash,
Yes, sir.
you are able to connect or you are not able to connect?
I am able to connect.
You are able to connect. Okay, good. Fine. Guys, anybody who is not able to connect with RDS database, MySQL database from EC2 instance, in the group somebody send the messages that they are not able to connect with RDS database from this putty terminal in the EC2 instance. Is there anybody who is not able to connect?
Prasad sir, నాకు కూడా connect అవ్వలేదు sir.
Sir, I am Parmesh here. I am not able to connect that. I am facing that issue.
Okay, guys. Now I will check your issues. All of you, could you please log in into your EC2 instance from putty? All of you, open up. All of you, log in into your AWS account and open putty software. I will check it why it is not connecting now. Please log in into your AWS account. Open putty. Connect it to the EC2 instance from the putty. We will see what is the reason. I want all of you to connect with that database using EC2 by using that commands that I have given. I want everybody should be able to connect to the database from EC2 instance. The people who are not able to connect, please log in into your AWS account. Please open your putty. Then I will tell you what is the problem and how to fix that problem. Okay. The people who are able to connect to the database, you guys download one software called MySQL Workbench software, guys. That is the GUI. That is a software. By using that, we can MySQL Workbench you can download. That is an open source software. By using that also, we can connect to the database. Okay. Now go to this URL. The people who are able to connect with RDS can download MySQL Workbench. Today I will show you how to connect with MySQL database by using MySQL Workbench. Download the software from this location. Download the software from this location. I have given that URL. Okay. The people who are facing the issue, Parmesha, can you share your screen now? Can you share your screen, Parmesha? I want to see why are you not able to connect.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm unable to see your screen.
One.
Meanwhile, I will go with Prasad, GVV Prasad. Can you share your screen? Can you share your screen and show me what is the issue you are facing? Anyone else facing the issue? Anyone else facing the issue with the connectivity? Prasad is sharing the screen. Yeah, Prasad.
Sir, the instance running the petnanu.
Yes, sir.
Sir, RDS లో స్టాప్ పెట్టాను మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ రావట్లేదు సార్ డేటాబేస్.
Where is the database? You deleted the database, sir. You have to create it again, man.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్.
Now, create the database. Guys, see here how he is creating the database now. Yeah, select MySQL. Select free tier. Then come down. Database 1. Okay, enter the password. You enter the password. Give admin @123, something like that. Make it fast, sir.
నెట్ స్లో ఉంది సార్ కొద్దిగా.
Make it public access. Yeah, scroll down. Go to additional configuration. Select that additional config. Enter the database name Ashok IT DB. You can enter the name as Ashok IT DB. You can give any name here. That is the database which is going to create. Okay, you can give Ashok IT DB. Spelling mistake. Yeah, Ashok DB. That's fine. No problem. Any name you can give. Any name you can give. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah. Now click on finish. Click on finish. Create database. Yeah, now your database will be created. Here, we are not using any VPC settings here. We are going with the default VPC, right?
Answer.
Now the default VPC may not enable the port for you. Now click on your database name. Click on your database name. Now see what is the VPC security group it is used for your database. Come down, scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah, can you click on that security group name? Default security group which is in the active state. Can you click on that security group? Click on that security group. Now click on that group ID. Click on that group ID. Right. Now see what are the inbound rules available for that. Go to edit inbound rules. Go to edit inbound rules. Yeah. What is the port range you have given now? You give now you give that. What is that? What I have given for you in the screenshot? Yeah, 1 second. Select all TCP. Now you give the port range as 0 to 65535. Select. Now you select that. No. You delete this one. You delete this one. Yeah, delete that. Now you select it. Keep 00 first one. Cider block. All TCP. Source you need to select as a custom source, not anywhere. Keep it custom. Now select 00.
Automatically it will change. Yes. Then you can delete that inbound rule. You can add new rule. Then it will.
Yeah. Yeah. Delete that rule. Delete that rule. Yeah. Now add the rule. Click on add rule. Now you select it. All TCP. Now 025565. Now select that first one. Now okay, fine. Now save the rule. Guys, the people who are not able to add this, delete the existing that inbound rule and create the new rule. Then it is going to take that port for you. Okay. Now your port configuration is done. Now go to your RDS database. Go to your RDS database. Control and click that button. It will go to the new tab now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now already you clicked on it. Open your putty and connect to the EC2 now. Now go to EC2 dashboard. Not this. Go to EC2 dashboard. Select your instance. Select that instance name. Don't give that. Select the checkbox. Select that checkbox. Yeah. Now click on connect option. Click on connect option above. Click on it. Now scroll down. Scroll down. Click on connect. Directly you can connect from the browser. Click on connect. Yeah. Directly you can open the console here. Now go to your RDS. Go to your RDS. Is that created the endpoint that we need to check? Now click on the DB instances. Select the database name. Scroll down. Endpoint is created now. Now, what are the commands that we need to execute? I have given the commands for you, right? Yesterday.
Sir.
Where are those commands? Did you download it yesterday's class notes? Did you download it yesterday's class notes?
Download చేయలేదు సార్.
Then how you practiced, man? And how you practiced?
అంటే అది కమాండ్ గుర్తుందండి, అది కొట్టేసాను సార్.
Then type those commands. If you remember the commands, you type it. No need to download them.
సార్.
If you remember the command, that's good. Type it. First, install the existing packages. Install the existing packages.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Sudo apt-get space update. Sudo space apt-get. Apt, not app. Apt. apt-get space update. What is this, sir? Enter. Update, spelling mistake. Now it is updating all the packages in your system, right? Now you have to install MySQL client. Once the packages are updated, you have to install MySQL client. Now type the command sudo apt-get install apt-get space install space MySQL-client. Enter. Now it is installed in your system. Now you need to connect to the MySQL. Then type the command. First time you are installing the client software in your machine, you are saying that you executed that command. What is this, man? MySQL -h space -h, no space, -h. Then space, paste your endpoint URL. Space -u space your username admin space -p. Enter. Enter the password, database password.
వచ్చింది సార్.
You connected.
అదే సార్, సెక్యూరిటీ గ్రూప్ డిలీట్ చేస్తే అయిపోయేది.
Yeah.
డిలీట్ చేయలేదు.
Now can you execute command show databases? Show databases semicolon. Ashok DB is available, right? Now can you use the DB? Not select, use DB name. Use DB. First you have to use the DB. Use Ashok DB. Database name. That is what we created. Right. Now show tables. Semicolon. Semicolon is mandatory. Now, do you have any tables? You don't know. Now you need to create the tables. For that, I have given the queries in the notepad, in the yesterday's notes.
Okay.
Follow those.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Now, anyone else facing the issue, guys? Monali Buzbal. Is your issue resolved? Parmesha, is your issue
sir.
resolved?
Yes, sir.
I will try it, sir.
Yeah. So see here, what is the problem? That security group is the problem. If you delete and add the new security group, as per the screenshot I have shared in the group, it will work now. You have seen that Prasad is able to resolve his issue.
అవును సార్. ఎస్ సార్.
Yes. Can you guys try the same now?
Yes, sir.
మెయిన్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చింది సార్.
Correct.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Right, sir. Anyone want to share the screen?
Yes, sir. I have a small problem.
Yes, sir. Please tell me what is the problem.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I am sharing my screen. Sir, it has been listing like host disabled participate screen sharing.
1 second. Your name Siddhartha. Yeah. Can you share
Yes.
it now?
Yeah. Sure. So is it showing now?
Yes, I can see.
Okay.
Can you open security group first? I want to see your security group.
Yeah,
Can you-
sure.
No, hold on. Click on the security group.
Yes, sir.
Click on the group ID.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now your rule is correct, na? Save the rules. Yes, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. Yeah. Now go to your putty.
All right. Okay. So this is the command, sir.
-h -u username -p space -p.
Yes, sir.
Enter. Enter the database password.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Connected.
Okay. Now connected, sir.
Show databases. Spelling mistake. Databases spelling mistake. Semicolon. No, not again everything, man. You forgot to add the semicolon. Now you just add the semicolon in the second line. Remove everything.
Move everything.
Enter semicolon. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Now. All right. So SIDJ is your database name.
Yes, sir.
Now, can you use the database? How to select the database? Use
Yes,
SIDJ.
Yes.
Right. Database changed. How to check the tables available? Show. Where is the class notes? Did you download yesterday's class notes? No. Guys, what are you doing? Why I am uploading the class notes daily?
Yes, sir. These are the class notes.
Then why you did not download it that?
Actually, I had downloaded it somewhere else, but right now I am having the live screen on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Your issue resolved. Anyone else facing this issue? Anyone else facing the same issue? Yeah, Siddharth, your problem is resolved.
I will share the screen.
Yeah, Parmesha, please go ahead. Stopping the. Who is doing that? Yeah, Parmesha.
Can you visible, sir?
Yeah, visible. Can you click on the group ID? Not VPC ID. Click on the security group ID. Yeah. Scroll down. Edit inbound rules. Click on the edit inbound rules button.
It is the inbound rules. Yeah.
Delete that group. Delete that row. Complete row. There is a delete button.
Yes.
Now add the rule. Alt TCP. Select that Alt TCP. Now source custom. Now select the first CIDR block 001. Select the first one. Save the rule. Now it will work for you.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now in the class notes you have the commands. Just follow those commands and connect to the database.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Anybody else having the issue? Anybody else having the issue? Okay, now let me share my screen. All right, guys. So with this, successfully we are able to launch MySQL database by using AWS RDS. Okay. If you take this as the AWS, if you take this as the AWS data center, in this data center, I am using one service called RDS service. I'm using one service called RDS service. RDS stands for Relational Database Service. Inside the RDS service, I'm using one database called MySQL database. Guys, now tell me, MySQL is a SQL database or MySQL is a NoSQL database? Guys, could you please tell me? MySQL database is a SQL database or it is a NoSQL database?
SQL database.
SQL database. SQL database. What is the meaning of SQL database? What is the meaning of SQL database?
Structured data.
Structured data. That means it is going to store the data in the tables and rows. It is going to store the data in the form of tables. The data will have a clear structure. Schema will be available. The table will be available. Table will have rows and columns. The data will be stored in that. Now, how I connected to this database now, guys? How I connected to this database? How we check the connectivity, whether database is available or not, connecting or not? Can I say from EC2 I have connected to this database? Can I say that we are connected to this database from EC2 instance?
Yes.
Yes, right. By using what? By using what? MySQL client I have used. Can I say that I used MySQL client in my EC2 instance and I connected to this database? Yes, I used EC2 instance. In the EC2 instance, I have installed MySQL client. How I installed MySQL client in the EC2 instance? This command is installing MySQL client software in the EC2 instance. Using that MySQL client software, I connected to this database. Okay. Now, guys, there is one more client software we can install that is called MySQL Workbench, that is having GUI. There is one more client software is available which is called as MySQL Workbench. Generally, developers and testers in the companies will use this MySQL Workbench software to execute the queries for testing purpose. By using MySQL Workbench also, by using MySQL Workbench, we can connect to this database. EC2 we are using to connect to this database. EC2. Inside the EC2, what I am using? MySQL client. Which software I used, guys? MySQL client software I used in the EC2 instance and I connected to the database. Now, generally in the companies, what the development team will use at the time of development? At the time of development, they are going to install one GUI software in their machine. They are going to install one GUI software in their machine. That the GUI software is called as MySQL Workbench. That is just to connect with the database. It is a client software to execute the queries, guys. Because executing the queries in the putty is very difficult. Executing the queries in the putty is very difficult. That's the reason in the company, developers are going to install one more software called MySQL Workbench. This is the MySQL client software. MySQL server is available in the RDS. MySQL Workbench is a client software which is used to connect with the database at the time of development to check tables are available or not, data is available or not. All those things the developers will verify by installing MySQL Workbench software. Later, their application is going to connect with the database. Now, Java application or any application, our project, our app is also going to connect with the database. Like this, these three things, in these three ways, we are going to connect with my MySQL database. Are you guys able to follow this? Now, in the last session, I have explained how to create a database by using AWS RDS service. I have explained how to connect to the database by how to set up a database in the Amazon by using RDS service. How to set up a database in the cloud by using RDS, MySQL database. Guys, once the database is set up is done, what are the details we need to note down? What are the details we need to note down? Endpoint, username, endpoint, username, password,
Port number.
port number. Port number. Why we need these details? Do we need to give these details to development team or not?
Yes.
Yes or no? Now, who is going to create the database in the cloud? Developer will create the database or AWS engineer will create the database in the cloud?
AWS engineer.
Developer will create in the cloud or AWS engineer will create in the cloud? AWS engineer will create the database in the cloud. Developer will know the endpoint details, or developer will not know the endpoint details? Developer will not know the endpoint details. Now, who is responsible to share database details to the development team? Guys, please respond.
AWS.
AWS, there are 66 people are available. Only one person is responding.
AWS engineer.
AWS engineers will share the database credentials to the development team. Then how developers will connect to the database?
Using
Username and password.
Using username, password, and endpoint. Which software they will use to connect to the MySQL database?
MySQL Workbench.
MySQL Workbench.
Yeah.
MySQL Workbench. What is that MySQL Workbench?
It is a GUI.
GUI type of.
GUI client, guys. It is a GUI client.
Exactly.
It is a GUI client. Why they will use this GUI client? To execute the queries. To execute the queries they are going to use now. But as a DevOps engineer, are you going to install the MySQL Workbench? Is it required for you?
No, sir.
No. It is not required for you. Who requires the software? Developers are required. Development team, testing team requires this MySQL Workbench because they want to check how many tables are available, what is the data available. As part of the development, they need to monitor the table data. So development team and testing team is going to install this MySQL Workbench software to connect with the database. As a DevOps engineer or AWS engineer, how you will check the database connections are happening or not? From the EC2. From the EC2, you are going to connect with the database to check whether we are able to connect with the database or not. If we are able to connect to the database from the EC2, then those people also can connect to the database by using MySQL Workbench. Are you guys clear with my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
once the development team is able to connect with the MySQL Workbench, based on the tables available in the database, they will write the logic and their application also will connect with the database. If application wants to connect with the database, what they need to do? They need to configure the database details in the application or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Java application can connect with the database. PHP application can connect with the database. .NET application can connect with the database. Python application also can connect with the database. As a DevOps engineer, do you need to bother about this application is a Java or .NET or Python or PHP?
No.
Do you really need to bother about which language they are using to develop this application?
No, sir.
No. What is your duty here?
Yes.
Creating the database, sharing the database details to the development team. How you will share the database details to the development team? You will send a mail to them. That's it. Are you understanding the real-time scenario?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, so as a AWS engineer or as a DevOps engineer, you are responsible to set up the infrastructure and provide the infrastructure details to the development team. Then how to connect with the database, how to create the tables, how to execute the queries, how to connect from application to the database, that is development team is going to take care. That is not your responsibility. That is not your responsibility. Okay, you will be involved till you create the database and take these details. Before giving your database details to the development team, first you check once whether you are able to connect to the database from MySQL client software in the EC2 or not. From EC2, if you are able to connect to the database, then happily share the details to the development team. Then development team will install the MySQL Workbench and they will connect to the database. They will perform the operations. Later, from the application, they are going to connect to the database. Application will perform the operations in the database. Application will insert the data. Application will retrieve the data. Application will update the data. Application will delete the data. What application is going to do? It is going to interact with the database to perform the operations. Now guys, tell me, how many layers will be available in the application?
3 layers.
3 layers. What are the 3 layers?
Front end, back end.
Front end, back end, database.
Database.
Front end, back end, database. What is the front end? What is the front end of the application?
UI.
User interface, where end user can perform the operations. When end user perform the operation on the front end, then what will happen? Backend logic, backend code is going to execute. What that backend code is going to do? Communicate with the database. It is going to perform CRUD operations with the database.
Exactly.
Create the table, insert the record, update the record, delete the record, retrieve the record. Now, our application is going to interact with MySQL table. MySQL is what type of database? MySQL is a
Structure.
relational
Structure.
database, structural database, RDBMS, relational database. In the relational database, how the data will be available? In the relational database, how the data will be available?
Tables and rows.
Data will be available in the form of tables and
Tables.
rows.
Rows
Are
and
you guys clear with this one? Now, let me show you. Let me show you guys. Now, you are using our Ashok IT website to access the class notes, to check the details and all. Now, so can you believe that Ashok IT website is having 3 layers?
Yes, sir.
Front end, back end, and database?
Yes, sir.
Now, can I show you the database of Ashok IT website now? Now, here, see that actually end user will bother about this database, or end user will not bother about the database.
Will not bother.
End user will not bother
Will
about
not
the
bother about
database.
the data.
Will not bother about the database. Now, can you see how many tables are available for Ashok IT website in the backend?
Many tables.
So many tables are available.
many tables.
So many tables are available now. As a DevOps engineer, do you need to bother about what are the tables available in the database?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
No. What is your duty?
Just
Connection
create
established between the
connection.
connection established.
You are responsible to create the database and establish the connection with the database. That's it. And share the database details to the development team. आपका काम खत्म. You are involved till database connection established. You are involved till database connection established. Once the database connection is established, then developer will take care of the remaining things. Now, most of the people are developers in this batch. Now, guys, do you know what is MySQL Workbench now?
Yes, sir.
So what is the MySQL Workbench? It is a GUI client which is used to connect with the database now. Can I show you how to connect with the database by using MySQL Workbench now? Because basically I am also a developer. I also need to connect with the database in my project. Now, so do we know the endpoint of the database?
Yes, sir.
We know the endpoint of the database. Do you know the port number? We know the port number. Do you know the username of the database? Yes. Password of the database? Yes. I have the endpoint. I have the username. I have the password. I have the port number. Now, can I connect to this database by using MySQL Workbench? Can I connect to the database by using MySQL Workbench?
Yes.
Yes, I can connect to the database by using MySQL Workbench. Let me show you MySQL Workbench. MySQL Workbench is a free software which is used to connect with the MySQL databases. It is a GUI software. For the DevOps people, it is not required because you don't use that. If any developer or a tester is available, they will connect with the MySQL database by using MySQL Workbench to monitor the tables and tables data. To monitor the tables and tables data. I'm opening my MySQL Workbench. ये कहाँ गया भाई? Okay, till the MySQL Workbench is opened, can I show you how the applications will connect to the database? Can I show you how the applications will connect to the database?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, guys, here I'm going to my Java project batch workspace where we are developing the Java projects. Now here, can you see one Spring Boot application is available? In the Spring Boot application, there will be one properties file, application.properties. This is called configuration file. In that configuration file, what those people are going to do, what the developers are going to do, can you see? Can you see what is this? What is this?
Database drive.
URL means, can I say it is an endpoint?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now username,
Password.
password, and a driver class.
Driver class.
Do you understand how developers will use the database details?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, as a DevOps engineer, sorry guys. Now, sometimes as a DevOps engineer, you need to edit the configuration files also. I will come when I'm going to explain you the real-time project. I will tell you all the details. Okay. So now you are trying to learn the concepts by concepts. EC2 we learned, S3 we learned, Route 53 we learned, RDS we are learning, right? By using all these things, we are going to implement one real-time project. Then I will tell you all these details. Now, developers will use one properties file to configure the database details. My Java program will take the details from the properties file and will connect with the database. Are you clear with my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you clear with my point?
Yes.
Developers are going to configure the database details in the properties file. From this properties file, Java application is going to load the details of the database and Java application will connect with the database. Right now, so as a DevOps engineer, you need to share the database details to the development team. Okay. Now, tomorrow, sometimes we may need to modify the database details in the configuration file. That is also DevOps engineer duty. Developers will create a property file, and as a DevOps engineer, suppose for example, if database password is modified, then developer will edit the configuration file or DevOps engineer will edit the configuration file. DevOps, not developer. Developer will involve up to code is committed to GitHub. That's it. How you are going to deploy the code and where you need to modify the configuration file, that is the DevOps engineer duty in the project. So if you are working on the Java application deployment process, then you need to edit the properties file and you need to configure the host of the endpoint of the database, username of the database, password of the database. That's it. Okay. All these topics I will explain in the project. We are going to deploy one project into the AWS. There I will tell you all these configuration properties. Okay. Fine. Now with this, can you see which software I have opened now?
MySQL
Workbench.
MySQL Workbench. So I want to create a connection. Okay. There is an option called plus option. Click on plus symbol. I want to establish a connection. I'm giving the connection name as AWS RDS. What is the host name? Host name means, can I say endpoint?
URL.
Endpoint, that is the database. So host means server, where the database server is running. Where the database server is running, give the host. What is the default port number?
Same.
3306. What is the username?
Admin.
Admin. What is the password? Store in vault. Give the password. Give the password. Click on OK. Test connection. Connection is successful or not?
Exactly.
That means, are we able to connect to the RDS database by using MySQL Workbench?
Yes.
Yes. Click on OK. Now connection is created. Double click on this. Now editor will open. There you can write your queries. Developers will write the queries here to interact with the database. Okay, this is editor. This is editor. Now, can you tell me what command I need to use to check the databases available?
Show database.
Show databases. Now there is a button, execute. Now, can you see all the databases are displaying now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how to select a particular database? Use
Ashok ITDB.
Ashok ITDB. Now run this. Am I able to use the Ashok ITDB now? Success? Yes.
Yeah.
Can I see the tables available in the database?
Yes.
Show tables. Show tables. Now, can I say my table name as persons?
Yes.
Now, can I see the data available in the table?
Yes.
Select a star from persons. Select a star from persons. Can you see the records available in the table? 101 Ashok IT HYD Hyderabad. Now, can I insert one more record into the table now? Can I insert one more record into the table now? Yes or no?
Yes.
102. 102. Smith. Steve Smith. USA. USA. Okay. New Jersey. Execute this query. Execute this query. One record is inserted. One more record inserted. Now select a star from persons. Now can you see that? Two records are available in the. All right. Two records are available in the table or not?
Yes.
So are we able to connect to the database by using MySQL Workbench?
Yes.
Who will use MySQL Workbench in the real time?
Developer.
Developer and testers also. Testers are going to test the application. What the testers will do in the project? Testers, now see here, if you go to this website, now there is an option called register for a demo. Whenever you click on the register for a demo, it is asking your details. When you click on the register, data will insert in the database table. Whether the data is inserted in the table or not, that database testing also testers will do. When you click on the button, it is saying that the data is inserted. But really the data is inserted to the database table or not, the testers are going to test it. Now tell me, testers should know the SQL. Testers don't need to know the SQL.
Should know
know.
that.
We should
Should
know
know.
the SQL
Testers also should know the SQL. Why testers should know the SQL?
to test the.
Confirm whether data is
To check how the application is working, how the data is persisting in the database. Okay. Now, if application is displaying, when you click on register for a demo, you are entering some numbers, you are selecting that, click on register. It is saying that thank you for contacting, will get back to you within 24 hours. Can you believe this application? Is it really storing the data to database? Can you guarantee?
Yes, sir.
No.
Can you guarantee? Is it really storing the data in the database? How can you guarantee? Whenever you click on submit button, in which table the data is going to store, go to that table and check the table data and verify data is inserted or not. That is called end-to-end testing. Who will do that end-to-end testing?
Tester.
Software tester. So
Okay.
testers should know the SQL or not.
Yes, is a mandatory.
That's mandatory for the testers. Okay. How testers will connect to the database? Where is the database running? Database running in my system or database running in the cloud platform?
Cloud flood.
Cloud.
Database running in the cloud platform. How the testers will connect to the database running in the cloud platform?
Using my brain.
MySQL
MySQL
workbench.
workbench.
Okay. Now, how they will know the endpoint, username, password of the database? Who will provide the details to them?
DevOps engineer.
DevOps engineer will provide to them. Who is configuring the database in the cloud?
Cloud is
AWS data DevOps engineer is setting up the database in the cloud. They will give the database details to the development team and testing team. Now, are you getting the real-time scenario? How it is working in the companies?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah, got it.
Clear. Anybody having doubts?
So the benefit of connection between the local my workbench and MySQL workbench and AWS RDS, unlimited space I can get, right?
Yes, right.
And no bothered of the DB installed to my machine local, right? For
You now I have set up the database in the RDS cloud. Do you need to bother about database security?
No, sir.
Do you need to bother about network for the database?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Do you need to bother about database licenses?
No.
Do you need to bother about the database backup?
Yes, that's the point. Okay.
So why we are going for this RDS to set up the database in the AWS?
Automatically it will set up
All the infrastructure. Now, suppose for example, if database you don't want to use in AWS, you want to purchase the database, then what are the problems?
we need to set
Lot
up
of configuration are required, security manage, right?
आपको एक computer चाहिए पहले.
Computer, yes.
You have to purchase the database license. ये database software आपका computer में install करना पड़ेगा. वो database को network configuration देना पड़ेगा, security configuration करना पड़ेगा, database backup देना पड़ेगा. You have to take care of lot of things, man. You have to spend lot of time. You have to spend lot of money. Now, do you need to spend any time for setting up the database?
No,
How much time it is taking?
5 seconds.
Within 10 minutes, are you able to set up the database or not?
Yes.
Yeah, within 10 minutes. Yeah.
Within 10 minutes, we are able to set up the database. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this now?
And any database we can connect like PostgreSQL, Oracle,
Anything.
any structure database we can connect easily through this way.
Exactly. For every database now, as I am using MySQL database, which client software I am using?
MySQL
workbench. Suppose my project want to use Oracle database. Can we create Oracle database in the RDS?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, what is the client available for what is the GUI client available for Oracle database? SQL developer.
SQL developer. Yeah.
SQL developer or Toad software is also available.
Toad software. Yeah.
There are so many clients available. Actually, in my current project, we are using Oracle database in the AWS. In my current project, we are using Oracle database my project is a microservices project. Some of the microservices are using Oracle database. Some of the microservices are using MySQL database. Some microservices are using MongoDB. You understand my point?
Yes, sir.
So one project can have multiple databases also, guys. One project can have multiple databases also. So with this, can we say that RDS is completed? You understand how to create the database in the AWS, how to establish the connection with the database, how to connect to that RDS by using EC2, using MySQL client, how to connect with that database by using MySQL Workbench, how to configure the database details in the Java application. In the Java application, properties file will be available. In that property files, we are going to configure the database details. Samjhe?
Yes, sir.
Ha.
Hi, sir.
But-
Actually, my
Yes,
side-
sir. Yeah. Go ahead. What's your question?
Sir, whenever we are creating the RDS, then access level is doing private, public, sorry, doing public, then anyone can access all.
And I will come to that point, sir. Still, what all the services that I am teaching you, I am teaching with the public connectivity only.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, yes.
EC2 machine IT, I have taught you EC2 instances with the public IPs, S3 buckets with the public IPs, Route 53, I explained you S3 buckets, public connectivity, RDS, public connectivity. Because we are learning the topics now. But actually, in the real time, this EC2, S3, this RDS, all these things will have private connectivity. And all these services we are going to set up in the VPC. There is a service called VPC. That VPC will have a public connectivity. All these services will have a private connectivity. So that VPC topic is not yet completed now. Once I explain the VPC, then I will tell you one real-time use case with the real-time project. How to set up the database in the private network, how to set up S3 in the private network, how to set up EC2 in the private network, then how to configure all these private networks in the VPC, how to set up a public connectivity for the VPC, how can we access through VPC all these services. That is the real-time project implementation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If I explain all these things now, can you digest?
No, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Understood? Because there is a lot of depth is there. We made our hands dirty in the cloud platforms. Okay. So, but if I explain you the real-time project implementation directly, then you can't understand the concept. So that's the reason. First I'm explaining the concepts in the form of bits and pieces. Once you are confident on all these topics, then I will implement a real-time environment. When I go for real-time environment, I will use a VPC, virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud, we need to understand. VPC is a very big service, guys. That VPC is subnets, CIDR blocks, IPs, private IPs, public IPs, IP ranges, all those things we have to understand. There is a lot of topics, pending topics are there. Once I explain the VPC, then I will give you full clarity on the real-time environment. Got it? If you guys don't have any problem on the duration, then definitely I will give you all these concepts with real-time use cases and real-time scenarios.
No, sir, no problem.
No problem, na?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So anyone having any questions? A very good question, Satya. Guys, he asked a very good question. He asked me that question is, sir, you are setting up your RDS database in the AWS with the public connectivity. If anybody know that username, password and URL, they can also connect with the database. Then where is the security? Is it a valid question or not?
Yes, sir.
It's very valid question, a very good question. So what is the answer for that? Currently, are we doing a real-time project or we are learning the concept?
I'm learning the concept.
Learning the concept. That is the reason what connectivity I am taking for this RDS now? Public connectivity. So tomorrow in the real-time project, this RDS will have a public connectivity or RDS will have a private connectivity?
Private connect.
Private connectivity. How we will use a private connectivity for the RDS now? There is a concept called VPC concept is there. By using VPC, I will make all these things as private. Got it? Very good. Very good. I will to share this screenshot, guys. Now. Satya, in which company you are working, sir?
Sir, Altimetry client is DBS Bank.
DBS Bank, Development Bank of Singapore.
Yes, sir.
कैसे है काम?
सर अच्छा चल रहा है सर.
माइक्रो सर्विसेज का प्रोजेक्ट और कैसे है?
हाँ, microservice and sir actually IBM mainframe actually before Spring Boot microservice. Actually one of the concept is there actually. This framework also I am working.
Okay. Are you using any cloud platform?
Yes, sir.
Which cloud?
Both sir, PCF and AWS.
So both clouds are there in your project.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Actually,
so-
some of the microservice actually is there in the AWS and mainframe actually there in the PCF.
Okay, mainframe is running in the PCF and microservices, Spring Boot microservices are running in the AWS cloud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So are these concepts are helping you to understand your project cloud platform?
Yes, sir. Actually, now we are using all these things, but internally how these things actually created this one actually I don't know. But
Okay.
now actually I understand all these things actually.
Okay, very good, man.
Previously,
good.
S3 bucket URL actually everything actually provided by our DevOps team. But now actually I understand all these things.
Okay, so you can share your experience, sir. What DevOps team is providing to you?
Yes, URL and username, password, these things actually is provided the S3 bucket.
Okay, okay.
And whenever we are using RDS also is providing DevOps team is providing some URL, whatever user said actually endpoint, username and password, then we are configure in our MySQL actually workbench. Then
Okay.
we are connecting the database.
Yeah, guys, see here, whatever I have explained to you, same thing he's following in his company. He's working for a banking company, DBS, Development Bank of Singapore. In their project, some microservices are running in the AWS, some projects are running in the PCF cloud. He's saying that DevOps engineers provided the endpoint, username and password, but he don't know how they provided. Today he got the clarity. So are we going in the real-time manner?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good, good, good.
Thank you, sir, for your sharing knowledge, sir.
Fine, sir. Fine. But guys, there are some problems with SQL databases. So what we learned as of now? SQL databases are not. What we have learned as of now?
SQL.
Arey bhai, someone please respond.
SQL.
We are learning SQL databases. SQL stands for structure query language. There is a other type of databases also available in the market. What are those databases?
No SQL database.
No SQL databases.
No SQL databases also available in the market. SQL stands for structured query language. No SQL stands for not only structured query language. No SQL means not only structured query language. No SQL, that is called no SQL. Now, can we understand what are the differences between SQL databases and NoSQL databases? Come on.
Database, non-SQL.
SQL database stored in the some structure format means actually
Tables.
and
All right.
NoSQL is stored in the JSON format actually. Key
Right.
value pair.
Key value pair. Not only key value pair, guys, there are several NoSQL databases are available. Let's go through this PPT and try to understand. Can I start now?
Yes, sir.
Right. First, let's understand what is SQL. You guys asked me to prepare a PPT now. I came up with the PPT now. We can save our time. I don't need to type everything now. Okay. What is SQL?
Structured query language.
SQL stands for structured query language. What is the purpose? SQL is used for which type of databases? It's used for relational databases. How the relational databases will represent the data? Relational database is a collection of tables that stores a specific set of structured data. If you want to store orders data, orders tables will be order table will be available. If you want to store the book data, book table will be available. If you want to store products data, product table will be available. If you want to store customers data, customer table will be available. So relational databases are going to represent the data in the form of a table. A table contains rows and columns. Are you clear with that? Now, how we are going to manipulate the data in the table, how we will insert the data, how we will insert a record, update the record, delete the record, retrieve the record from the relational databases. We are going to use SQL query language. What is that SQL? Structured query language. Now, you see here, this is one query. Select star from table name. This is an SQL query. Update query, one SQL query. Retrieve query, SQL query, insert query, SQL. These all are SQL queries which we are using to perform the operations in the relational databases. To perform the operations in the relational databases, we are using SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is used for relational data. Now, guys, simple. How I am teaching the class for you? In which language I am teaching?
English.
In English. Are you getting my point? If I want to teach the subject for you, I am speaking in the English language. Similarly, if I want to talk to database, which language I have to use?
Query language.
Query language. That is called structured query language. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, can you guys please read these points now? 5 points are there about SQL.
Yes, sir.
Can someone read out loudly? Somebody, can you please read? Avinash, can you please read these points?
SQL stands for structured query language.
Yeah.
It is used for relational databases.
Mhm.
A relational database is a collection of tables that stores a specific set of structured data.
Hmm.
A table represents data in the form of rows and columns.
Hmm.
To access and manipulate relational databases tables, data will use SQL language.
To access and manipulate relational database tables to data, we will use SQL language. Very good. Right. Next one. How the data will be represented in the relational databases, guys?
Structure.
Tables and columns.
Can I say that data will be stored in the form of a table format?
Yes.
Can I say? Who is that lady? Amita, please mute your mic. Amita Roy. Right. RDBMS will represent the data in the form of table. A table is a collection of rows and columns. Columns are called as attributes, guys. Columns will represent what type of data we want to store. Columns nothing but what? What type of data we want to store. Rows nothing but one record. One row is called as one tuple. One row is called as what? One tuple. That is called one record. Roll number, name, age, GPA. Right. So roll number, name, age, GPA are called as attributes of the table. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Now, these records are called as tuples. Like this, we are going to store the data in the relational databases. Okay, now, if I go with this approach, some advantages are there as well as some disadvantages also available. Advantages are what? Data is very clearly defined. It is having a structure. If a 10th class students also look at this table, can they understand what data it is?
Yes.
Can they understand what data it is?
Yes, sir.
Roll number, name, age, GPA. They can understand what data it is. More readability is there. More readability is there. Let's understand what are the disadvantages of this RDBMS. Okay. Okay. Before going to understand the disadvantages, what are the structured databases available? What are the relational databases available in the market? DB2 is one relational database. MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle database, Microsoft SQL Server. All these databases are called as what type of databases?
Structured.
Structured databases. That is nothing but relational databases. How they will store the data?
In the form of table.
Tables and columns. What will be there in the table? Rows and columns. Rows and columns will be available. So these all databases are examples of SQL databases. Nothing but relational databases available in the market. Now, let's come to problems. Let's understand the problems. Now, guys, could you please see these tables? I have given 2 tables here. Can we see the tables? Is there any relation between the tables? Do we have any relation between the tables or not?
No, sir.
No relation.
Yes, sir, relation is there.
Yes,
User
sir.
ID.
There is no
User ID same.
Now, I want to store users and their hobbies. I want to store users and their hobbies. Users data I am storing in one table. Hobbies data I am storing in the another table. Are you guys getting my point?
Yes.
Users data I am storing in one table. Hobbies data I am storing in the another table. Now, user ID 101, 102, 103. Hobby 501, 502, 503. All these hobbies are belongs to which user? All these hobbies are belongs to which user, guys?
101.
101. How many hobbies is having?
3.
Eating.
3. Eating, sleeping, chatting. Good habits or not?
3.
Right now. Now suppose for example, if that user is having 20 hobbies,
20 records will be created.
So we need to.
20 records will be created or not? Now,
Yes.
now 3 users are there. Each user having 20 hobbies. Then how many records I need to store in the table? Each user 20 hobbies.
60.
60 records I need to store in the database or not? Is it a
Yes.
problem or it is a advantage or it is a disadvantage?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Just to represent 3 users data, just to represent 3 users data, how many records I'm inserting? 60 records I'm inserting. Guys, are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about application. I want to add this user's data in my project. I want to add the user's data in my project. If I want to add the 3 users with the 20 hobbies, how many queries should execute?
60.
60 queries should execute. That means your application should communicate with the database for 60 times. 60 times plus these 3 also. 63 times your Java program should communicate with the database.
Yes,
63 times your program should interact with the database by opening a connection. Performance will be degraded or
Yes.
not?
Yes, sir.
63 times just to insert 3 users data in the database. My Java program should communicate with the database for 63 times, guys. Performance is gone. Performance is gone. Now tell me, so is it recommended to use this SQL databases for this kind of requirement?
No, sir.
It's not at all requirement. Then what is the solution?
No SQL.
Now see here. For one user, how many records I'm inserting?
2.
For one user, 1 record, user 2 record, user 1 John. Can I say hobbies in the JSON format, key value?
Yes, sir.
If you go for RDBMS, data will be represented in the tables format. If you want to insert this kind of data, more and more queries should execute. Performance of the application will be decreased. To avoid those problems, NoSQL databases came into market. Now, by using NoSQL, are you going to represent the data in the table format, or we are going to represent the data in the documents format?
Document form.
Document format. Now, if one user having 20 hobbies, how many documents will be available? 1 document will be available now. Now, John, 3 hobbies are there. Am I able to represent the John record within 3 lines? How many queries are there? How many queries are required to insert the John record now?
1.
1 John record.
1
query. How many queries are required to insert the Smith record?
1.
Now, 3 users are having 20 hobbies. How many queries are required to insert the data into the table if I go for NoSQL?
3.
3. If I go for SQL?
60.
63. 3 users should be stored into user table. 3 users, 20 hobbies should be stored into hobbies table. 3 plus 60. How many queries should execute in the SQL database? 63 queries. If I go for NoSQL database? Only 3 queries. For every user, 1 query. If the user is having 30 hobbies also?
1 query.
1 query. If user having 100 hobbies also?
1 query.
1 query. Now, do you understand which one is recommended now?
No SQL data.
NoSQL databases are having huge demand in the market, guys. Now, our Facebook, our WhatsApp, our Instagram, our Twitter, our Naukri, our LinkedIn, all these famous applications are getting big data. Did you hear about big data Hadoop in the market?
Yes, sir.
Big data, nothing but a huge amount of data, which is unstructured data. When the data doesn't have any structure, that is called unstructured data. When the data, now some users may have the hobbies, some users may not have the hobbies. So the data doesn't have any structure. When the data doesn't have any structure, then the data is called as big data, unstructured data. That data, in order to handle that big data, we are going to use NoSQL databases in the market.
Yes.
Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
What is a NoSQL database? Which is used to handle unstructured data. If your project is generating a structured data, then go for
SQL data.
SQL. If your project is getting unstructured data,
No SQL data.
no SQL. Now let's talk about WhatsApp chatting. Everybody is sending only text message in the WhatsApp?
Yes, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Oh,
No. Are you sending only text message in the WhatsApp to your friends?
No, sir.
Sometimes you will send a message, sometimes you will send an audio file, sometimes you will send a video file, sometimes you will send a emoji. Do you have any structure? Are you following any structure to chat with your friend?
No, sir.
So you are generating structured data or you are generating unstructured data in the WhatsApp chats?
Unstructured.
Unstructured data. There is no structure for that. Then which type of database that WhatsApp is using in the background?
No SQL.
NoSQL database. Are you guys understanding my point now? Facebook. Let's talk about Facebook. Do you think that everybody uploading same type of data in the Facebook?
No, sir.
Some people will upload image, some people will upload video, some people will upload image, some people will upload the text. People are playing with the Facebook. The people are uploading different kinds of data. So that the data is a structured data or that the data is a unstructured data?
Unstructured data.
Unstructured data. How to handle unstructured data in our application?
The use of NoSQL.
Using
NoSQL database. Now tell me when to go for SQL database and when to go for NoSQL database?
SQL database and the
For structured-
structure.
We
for
have a
structured
structured
query.
data.
When the data is structured, then we will go for SQL database. When the data doesn't have any structure, then we will go for
No SQL data.
NoSQL database. Now, do you understand at the advantage of going for NoSQL?
Yes, sir.
Sir, one
Right?
more question.
Yeah.
Sir, we can use NoSQL, then simply we can use NoSQL everywhere, right?
Yes, sir. You can use NoSQL also, but there are some drawbacks in the NoSQL also. When your data is having relations, if you want to write the joins to retrieve the data from different tables, then NoSQL is not recommended for that.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Right. Now, next one. So with this, we understood what is the difference between SQL databases and NoSQL databases. Now let's understand what is a NoSQL database. NoSQL databases are highly scalable and flexible database management systems which allow you to store and process unstructured as well as semi-structured data, which is not possible through RDBMS. RDBMS is not able to handle semi-structured data, unstructured data. RDBMS meant for what? RDBMS meant for what, guys?
Relational database.
Only structured data. Only structured data. If our project is generating unstructured data like a WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, NoSQL databases are recommended. NoSQL database doesn't require a fixed schema. Do you have any tables concept here? Do you have any tables concept here? Table,
No,
rows,
no.
columns?
No.
Nothing. Unstructured data means data can be in any format. Data can be available in any format. That is called unstructured. Why this unstructured data came into market? The main motivation of this approach to simplify the design and the horizontal scaling and finer control over the availability. Process the unstructured data, make the data is available at any point of time. That is the reason this unstructured data, to handle this unstructured data, NoSQL databases came into market. What are the NoSQL databases available? What type of NoSQL databases available? NoSQL databases are divided into 4 categories, guys. NoSQL databases are divided into how many categories? 4 categories. What are those 4 categories? Document database, key value database, column family database, and graph database. Document database, key value database, column family, graph database. Now, you heard about MongoDB.
Yes, sir.
MongoDB is a document-based database.
Yes.
Everything it is going to store in the form of document. Now, we are going for DynamoDB. DynamoDB is also NoSQL database. DynamoDB belongs to first 2 categories.
Document and key value.
Document database, and we can call it as key value based database. DynamoDB. Dynamo is given by Amazon. Amazon DynamoDB. Okay. NoSQL databases are categorized into how many types, guys? 4 types. Document databases, key value databases, column family databases, graph databases. Very good. Now, what are the NoSQL databases available in the market?
MongoDB.
MongoDB, Couchbase, Cassandra, Amazon DynamoDB, and Redis. What are the SQL databases available?
MySQL, Oracle.
MySQL, Oracle,
MySQL.
PostgreSQL, DB2, SQL Server. Those are SQL databases. What are the NoSQL databases available? MongoDB, Couchbase, Cassandra, Amazon DynamoDB, Redis. These all are comes under NoSQL databases. Now, guys, do you understand when to go for SQL databases, when to go for NoSQL databases?
Yes, sir.
If your project is generating structured data, then go for SQL databases. If your project is generating unstructured data, then go for NoSQL databases. Okay, good. SQL versus NoSQL. Can you see the difference now? SQL databases are nothing but relational database management system. NoSQL databases are nothing but distributed database management system. SQL databases are vertically scalable. NoSQL databases are horizontally scalable. In the SQL databases, schema is fixed. Schema nothing but structure of the tables. Okay. In the NoSQL, dynamic schema. That means, do you have any tables concept in the NoSQLs?
No, sir.
No. Key values will be available. Okay. Not suitable for hierarchical data, suitable for hierarchical. SQL is not suitable hierarchical. Can be used for complex queries, not good for complex queries. Now, these are the differences between SQL databases and NoSQL databases available in the market. But actually, as a DevOps engineer, are you going to decide which database to use for our project?
No.
As a DevOps engineer or as a AWS engineer, are you going to decide are you going to decide that we need to use a SQL database or NoSQL database? No. Who will decide that which database we need to use?
Developers.
Not even developer.
Clients.
No.
Team.
Architect will decide that. Architect will decide that. Who will decide which database we need to use?
Architect.
Whatever the architect will tell, चुपचाप वो कॉन्फ़िगर करके देना पड़ेगा. Got it? You will not have the rights to decide which database to use for our project. What is your duty as a AWS engineer? वो क्या बोलते हैं? करना पड़ेगा. That's it. If they want NoSQL database for the project, you set up the NoSQL database in the cloud and give the details. If they want SQL database for the project, you set up that and establish the connectivity, share the details. That's it. But why we are talking about this SQL and NoSQL? Why we are talking about it?
To gain the knowledge.
To get the knowledge. Yes, right. Yes, right. To get the knowledge. Because tomorrow they may ask a question. Did you ever get the chance to work with the DynamoDB in the AWS? Did you ever get the chance to work with the MySQL database in the AWS? What is the difference between MySQL database and DynamoDB? If they ask that question, you should be in the position to answer. You should not say, I don't know what is DynamoDB. I don't know what is SQL. You should have minimum knowledge. Are you guys getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have the knowledge on what is SQL and what is NoSQL?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So AWS is supporting for only SQL databases or AWS supporting for both databases?
Both database.
AWS supporting for both databases. Okay. What is the NoSQL database which is supporting by AWS now?
DynamoDB.
DynamoDB. DynamoDB is a SQL DB or DynamoDB is a NoSQL DB?
NoSQL.
Now, Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed proprietary NoSQL database service that supports key value and documented data structures. Now, DynamoDB developed by which company? Amazon. DynamoDB is the kid of the Amazon. DynamoDB developed, the owner of the DynamoDB is whom? Amazon. DynamoDB is fully managed proprietary NoSQL database service that supports key value and documented data structures. Now, when you go for this DynamoDB, what is the advantage? When you go for DynamoDB, what is the advantage? Do you need to bother about the hardware, software, configuration, scaling, testing, patching? Do you need to bother about all those details?
No, sir.
Now who will take care of all the details?
Amazon.
Amazon. And Amazon is providing the security for your data in the DynamoDB, or Amazon will not give the security for your data in the DynamoDB?
It will provide security.
Amazon will provide the security. Now, could you please read these points? Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed proprietary NoSQL database service that supports key value and document data structures. That means DynamoDB is a NoSQL database which is managing by Amazon company, that is also developed by Amazon company. When you go for DynamoDB to store your data, you no need to bother about the hardware, software, configuration, network, security and all. AWS is going to take care of everything. Are you clear with my point?
Yes, sir.
Now, what are the advantages of going for DynamoDB? On-demand capacity mode. Whenever you want, you can set up it. Built-in support for ACID transactions, storing the data in the database permanently, and on-demand backup, point-in-time recovery, encryption at rest. What is the meaning of on-demand capacity? You can scale up and you can scale down. You can scale up and you can scale down. Built-in support for ACID properties. For every database, transactions are required. Who is going to take care of the transactions here?
AWS.
AWS is going to take care of the transaction. On-demand backup. Now, I want to take the last 1 month data backup. Can I take it?
Yes, sir.
Point-in-time recovery. If your database is corrupted, backups will be available or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, encryption at rest. What is the meaning of encryption at rest? What is the meaning of encryption at rest?
We can.
The data that you are storing is secure. Encryption at rest. Once you store the data will be encrypted. The data will be encrypted. These all are the advantages of going for Amazon DynamoDB. Amazon DynamoDB is a NoSQL database which is fully managing by AWS company. Guys, able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Am I going speed or it is understandable?
Understandable.
Understandable, na? Chalo. DynamoDB core concepts. If you want to work with SQL database, what you need to know? Tables, rows,
Columns.
tables, rows, columns. Here also, tables will be available, items will be available, attributes will be available. Attributes nothing but columns. Items nothing but rows. That's it.
Rows.
Tables will be available here also. In the DynamoDB also, tables are available. Items will be available, attributes will be available. What is the meaning of items?
Rows.
Rows. What is the meaning of attributes?
Columns.
Now, can I say that in one table, multiple attributes will be available?
Yes, sir.
Can I say that in one table, multiple columns will be available?
Yes.
In one table, multiple rows will be available?
Yes, sir.
Right. In the SQL, I will say that one table will contain multiple columns. Columns are nothing but attributes. One table will contain multiple rows. Rows nothing but items. When it comes to the DynamoDB, can I say one table will contain collection of attributes and collection of items?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now here, guys, when you go for SQL database, primary key is optional. Primary key nothing but unique ID for every record. Employee ID. In the company, every employee will have a unique ID. Every employee will have the same ID.
Unique ID.
Unique ID. Why we will have a unique employee ID? To identify that person uniquely, na?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now every one of us having a same Aadhaar number or unique Aadhaar number?
Unique Aadhaar.
Unique Aadhaar number. Why we have unique Aadhaar number?
To identify a particular
To
person.
identify the particular person.
To identify the particular person. Similarly, when I'm storing the records in the table, do we need to identify the record uniquely or not?
Yes.
To identify the record uniquely, we are going to use a concept called primary key. Primary key should be unique for every item. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Primary key should be unique for every item. Every item will have a primary. The primary key represents that record is unique. The primary key will represent that record is unique. Now here, when you go for DynamoDB, there is a concept called read and write cap. Guys, in the DynamoDB, you can store any amount of data. There is no limitation. There is no limitation. You can store any amount of data. But when the AWS is giving this much facility, will they expect money from you or not?
Yes, sir.
That is called read and write capacity. How many times you want to read the data? How many times you want to write the data? Based on that, they are going to charge.
Yes, sir.
Raggai?
Yes.
Right. Read and write capacity. That means whenever you are creating that database table, you need to tell how many times you want to read the data in a day, how many times you want to write the data in a day. Based on your read and write capacity, the bill will be generated for you. Got it?
Yes.
Chalo. Now, table is group of records. Item is single record in a table. Attributes are nothing but columns. Do I need to explain these things or not? Already we know that. Table means collection of items. Every table will contain collection of attributes. Chalo. These are called as core elements in the DynamoDB. Core elements of DynamoDB. Table, items, attribute. Table means collection of items and attributes. Items means one record. Every item will have a primary key. What is the purpose of the primary key?
Uniqueness and
Uniqueness. What are the meaning of attributes?
Columns.
Columns. Very good. These are called core elements of DynamoDB. Now, primary key means unique record. Can you please read it? Read and write capacity. Can you please read these points? What is read and write capacity? Guys, are you okay if I take another 15 minutes? We'll complete the DynamoDB today.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, जल्दी खत्म करेंगे भाई. When you use a database like a MySQL, Postgres, or MongoDB, you provision a particular server to run your database. You need to choose your instance size, how many CPUs you need, how much RAM, how much storage, that you have to decide when you go for MySQL databases, Postgres database and all. But when you go for DynamoDB, what you have to select? What you have to select when you go for DynamoDB?
Read and write capacity.
Read and write capacity.
Read and write capacity. So when you go for DynamoDB, you no need to specify how much CPU, how much size, how much storage. They are unlimited. Whatever you want, they will provide you. But how they will calculate the money, how they will charge from you?
Read and write capacity.
That means how many times you want to read the data from the DynamoDB, how many times you want to write the data to the DynamoDB, that read capacity, write capacity we have to configure. Based on that, they are going to charge. That is the billing paradigm. Okay? Now I want to work with DynamoDB. So if I want to work with DynamoDB, what I need to do? If I want to work with DynamoDB, what I need to do? Create DynamoDB table, create items, add data, query table, stream table. Right. What is the meaning of create items? Rows or not? Rows. If I want to create the row, do I need the attribute or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, guys. Right. Fine. So give me 2 minutes, guys. I will get some water. Then I will complete the DynamoDB working example now only. So within 15 minutes, we can complete the topic. All of you, just take some water. 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, guys, all of you ready?
Yes, sir.
Very good. घर में गाली दे रहा है क्या यार, इतना बजे तक क्या क्लास है?
नहीं सर, नॉलेज के लिए कोई गाड़ी नहीं।
All right. Now, with this we understood what is SQL database, what is NoSQL database, and what are the differences between SQL and NoSQL. And today we understood what is DynamoDB. Can anyone tell me what is DynamoDB? Avinash, can you tell me what is DynamoDB?
Yes, sir. It's provided by Amazon and it's calculated on read and write.
DynamoDB is a NoSQL database which is provided by Amazon. They are going to charge the database on read and write capacity. Okay. What is the meaning of items?
Rows,
What are the attributes?
columns.
Columns. Chalo. Now let's go for DynamoDB. Guys, in the AWS, once you are in the AWS console, AWS management console, in the search box, you type Dynamo. What do you need to type here, guys? Dynamo. Okay, search for Dynamo. Right? DynamoDB. Managed NoSQL database. Can I say DynamoDB is a NoSQL database?
Yes.
Yes, DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. I opened DynamoDB. Amazon DynamoDB, a fast and flexible NoSQL database service for any scale. That means you can scale up, you can scale down. Right. Can you see the pricing of this? Read and writes, how many times you are going to read and write, based on that they are going to charge it. So to get started with the DynamoDB, what is the first step that you need to do?
Create a new table.
Create a table. To get started with the DynamoDB, create a table. Can I use any name for the table?
Yes.
Can I use any name for the table?
Yes.
I am using table name as players. Table name as players. Now they are asking partition key. Partition key is part of the table's primary key. What is the meaning of a primary key? What is the meaning of primary key? Unique or not? Unique. Every player will have a unique ID. Right. Unique ID. ID means number. I'm specifying the data type of that as a number. Sort key. I'm going to specify the sort key as a player name. Player name is a string type. Partition key and sort key. Partition key is a primary key. Sort key is a second part of the table primary key. If you want to retrieve the data, then you can use either primary key or sort key. Now, settings. I'm going with, here we have two options. Could you please read what are the two options?
Default settings and customized
Okay.
settings.
If you go for default settings, what is the read and write capacity? 5 units, each with auto scaling enabled. Now, if I go for customized settings, I have to select everything. If I go for customized setting, I have all the options that I have to select. Currently, I'm going with what? No. I'm going with what?
Default.
Default. I'm going with the default setting. So do I need to select all these things now?
No.
Not required. So if you are working in the real project, then they will go for
Customized
setting. Then you need to specify what is your read capacity, what is your write capacity, secondary indexes, key management, table classes, and all those things you have to specify. Currently, I'm going with default settings. What is my table name? Players. What is my primary key? Player ID. Player ID. What is my second primary key?
Player name.
Player name. Now default settings. Click on create a table. Okay, my table is getting created. Creating the players table, it will be available for use shortly. DynamoDB is getting created with a name as players. It is taking some time to set up that database. It is taking some time to set up that database. All right.
Sir, what's the main benefit to use DynamoDB?
No SQL database, sir.
Sir, also MongoDB also no.
That is also the sir. Amazon provided this DB. This is Amazon database. MongoDB is a community database.
Yes. Okay.
So if you
support only.
Support will be there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can I say my table status is active?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the read capacity? Read and write capacity mode? Default 5. Default 5. Okay. Go to players. Now, in the players, we have general options, indexes, monitor, global tables, backup, any backups, export streams, additional settings. There are several settings are available for the table. Okay. Here we have several options. What is this option?
Create item.
Create item. Create item. Explore table items. Create item. What is the meaning of item?
Rows.
Rows. Click on create item. Now, what are the attributes are coming by default? Player ID, player name. Now I am taking player ID as a 101. Player name I am taking as a Sachin. Can I add a new attribute also?
Yes.
Yes or no? Here you can add the data in 2 ways. You can select the form. If you like JSON, click on the JSON. You can enter the data in the JSON format also. If you have the JSON ready, you can just copy paste that JSON. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Right. I will go for the form option. It is easy. Add a new attribute. What type of attribute? String type. Player name. Now, player city. Player city. I'm adding it as Mumbai. Add a new attribute. Number. Player age. Player age. I'm giving it as 35. Now, can I say that these are attributes and all these attributes belongs to one item?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Now, add a new attribute. Click number. Matches played. Matches played. 125. Number. Player ID, player name, player city, player age, matches played. Okay. Click on create item. Now, with this, can I say one item is created in the table?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, click on explore items. Can you see that item is available?
Yes,
One
sir.
record is available.
Yes.
Can we create one more item?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We can click on create one more item. Here also we can add the data, create item. That item also will be created. Click on this record. This is the information of that player. Can we edit this data?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can modify the data also. Now click on JSON. This is the JSON data. Now, by using this JSON data, I will create one more item. I will create one more item. Now this time I will give 1 or 2. Player name I will give Dhoni. Dhoni. Number of matches played 120. Player age some 32, something like this. Some dummy data, guys. Don't take it seriously, okay? Click on create item. So with this, can I say I have created 2 items in the table?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
With this, can I say 2 items I have created in the table?
Yes, sir.
Now, scan or query items. Table, click on, you can apply the filter, type, number, condition, equal to, enter value, enter attribute. Enter attribute. You can enter the attribute name and you can filter the data, run this, items returned 101, 102. If I give the value as 101, click on run. Now you can filter, you can add the filter. You can add the filter, enter the attribute value. Attribute value I'm giving as player underscore ID. Player underscore ID equal to 101. Then run this. How many records I'm getting?
1.
What is this? Can I say this is a filtering the data?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right, we can filter the data. Scanning. Can you query the table? Run. Items record. Query. Primary key partition ID it is asking. Scanning the record or we can query the records. I like this. We can retrieve the data based on our requirement. Scanning and all. we can apply and we can run this. We are able to retrieve 2 player records. If you want to do these things properly with some editor, there is an editor called particle editor. Particle editor. Now, can you write the table names here? Now, table, player ID and player name is available. Query you can create, select a star from players. Click on run. When I run this, download completed. Are we able to retrieve the data?
Yes.
Now, can we download the data to the CSV file? Download results to CSV. It is exported the data to the CSV file, Excel file. I'm able to download the data also. Now, can you see the data is downloaded now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, like this now. Are we able to create the table in the DynamoDB? And
Yes.
are we able to create the items with attributes?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir,
Can you guys?
that means Amazon means through DynamoDB, Amazon provide a web interface also for all these things.
Correct. So from now I'm doing this from web interface only now.
Yes, sir.
I created a table players. Now can we create another table?
Yes, sir.
Another table also. Now can I add a item?
Yes,
There is
sir.
option called add item. Now there are several actions are available. Update a table class, delete a table, create item, create index, create replica, export to S3. That means whatever the data is available in the Dynamo table, can I store the data into S3 bucket?
Yes, sir.
Now another one is enable TTL. Enable TTL nothing but time to leave, time to delete. How much time you want to store the data and when you want to delete the data, that also you can configure by using time to leave. What is the meaning of export to X3?
Storing in the S3 bucket.
Storing in the S3 bucket. If I want to store the data into S3 bucket, what is required?
S3.
Point in time recovery should be enabled. There are several options are available. Those point in time recovery option we have to enable. Then you can export the data to the S3 bucket. What is the meaning of point in time recovery?
When you want to do it.
Backups. When backups you want to take the data. Now point in time recovery edit. Point in time recovery provides continuous backup of your DynamoDB data for 35 days to help you protect against accidental write or deletes. Okay. So if you configure point in time, every 1 hour I want to take the data backup. Every 1 hour I want to take the data backup. Can you configure that as a point in time recovery?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You click on edit. Edit, enable point in time recovery. Point in time recovery provide continuous backups of your dynamic data for 35 days to help you protect against accidental write or deletions. If you can enable, Amazon DynamoDB pricing will be applied. If you want to take the point in time backup, then pricing will be applied for you when you are doing the read and writes on the tables. Got it? Got it, guys, all of you?
Yes, sir.
So can you work on this DynamoDB before coming to tomorrow's session?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. With this, I'm stopping now. We'll continue in tomorrow's
Sir,
session.
I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, my name is Madhukar.
Yes, sir.
What is AWS Cloud Practitioner, sir? What topics it will come under that?
Yes, sir. I will tell you. I will prepare the sheet and I will give you for which certification, which topics are comes under. I will prepare the sheet.
Okay, actually, my company is offering a free certification. So
Okay.
till tomorrow they wanted to register there. So,
Sure, sir. You register the by default now, bro. Register कर लो क्या है? Free है ना?
okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
ठीक है. चलो sir. Bye, guys.
Good night,
Good
sir.
night. Good night. Tomorrow we'll
Good
meet.
night, sir.
Yep. Thank you.